Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Memo here. Thank you for joining me. Today we are going to be taking a look at two different bots, which is a bit unusual, but we're going to look at the Studio Series 83 Soundwave, who is a Voyager class, and we're going to take a look at the core class Studio Series Ravage. Out of all the live action movies, I'd have to say the Bumblebee movie is my favorite. But I don't know if it falls under prequel or reboot. But I guess it has yet to be determined. But anyhow, that opening scene did provide us with some pretty awesome versions of the G1 Transformers that we've all come to love. And I'm pretty excited to get into these. So, all that being said, we're not here for boxes. Let's dive in. Now, they both did come with a backdrop. Soundwave's more of what you're used to with the Voyager class Studio Series. Has a wonderful picture of Cybertron. And then Ravage came with something similar, but really it's part of the packaging. So I don't really know if you can count this as a backdrop. It's got wonderful art on it of another battle scene on Cybertron. I think you got Bumblebee right there. A few other characters, but the problem is they use it to hold the product in place, so it's full of holes. So that's trash. Anyhow, let's move on. So we'll start things off with Soundwave. He doesn't come with much as far as accessories. He's got two weapons. He's got his rifle, which is nicely sculpted, painted in a gloss, kind of a chocolatey brown. I don't know if they intended it to be black and it just turned out this way because they painted over blue, but it looks really good. It's got a scope on the top, nicely detailed. It's got a slot on the side. Looks like it could be a belt-fed weapon, but looks good. Blast effect compatible. Nicely done. And the second is what most would consider to be his shoulder cannon, which done in blue plastic, painted silver on the end. Got some red accents. There's the view from the back. Now, this can be used in this mode, like a regular rifle or pistol, or you can use it in tank mode as well. But if you move this down, that gives you an additional peg that you can use to pour it into his back. The rifle, as you can imagine, does fit in either hand nicely. His shoulder cannon does slide into one of the ports on either side. You have your choice. So you can pivot it side to side to give you a little bit of freedom there. And also, you can tilt it almost to 90 degrees. So let's take a look at Soundwave. He does have that very nicely painted face. You got silver for the mask, red paint on the eyes, more silver accents and detail on the side of the head. I love the points of the ears. Look really good. Coming down to the chest, you've got this beautiful gold going around the tape deck, red accents that are actually painted on the inside. Arms painted in white, blue plastic up here. You've got some additional silver detail on the inside of the arm and on the side. Nice red around the wrists. Nicely detailed hands, though they are not posable. Nice sculpting on the shoulders. Coming down the waist, you've got some wonderfully done silver, white, and red highlights. Some nice sculpting work there, as well as on the upper thighs. White paint on the thighs and knees. Nice sculpting all throughout, to be honest. Nice gold trim around the shins. There's the feet. Coming around the back, more red highlights. Cleans up very nicely in the back. And looks like they were going to do some light piping, but they went with painted eyes instead, which I definitely prefer paint. But nicely sculpted. As far as articulation, head can go down to there, up to there. Very little bit of attitude. And it can do a full 360. The chest portion does open. Spring loaded. Got some alt mode bits inside, but it's nice and big. Now, you can't just close it. You actually have to press the button to get to the lock. Shoulders can go up to there. You actually have the ability to move the arm forward separate of this piece, which is nice. Rotation on the upper bicep. A little more than 90 degrees on the elbow. You can do a full 360 if you want. No wrist rotation, which is surprising. Now, this is where it kind of gets weird for me. You've got this panel that comes down from the upper chest. So with it down, you really don't have much waist rotation. But as soon as you lift it up, you can do a full 360. To me, I think that's some sort of, it's a design mistake, really. I think that this could have been down on the lower portion to give us a 360 rotation without having to lift it up. Maybe even an ab crunch. But anyhow, moving on. You do have the ability to go up that far, back that far, and out almost all the way. You've got upper thigh rotation. You've got a double jointed knee, which will get you a little more than 90. Coming down to the feet, you do have rotation, pivot up and down, and you do have a nice rocker to the side. So overall, wonderfully sculpted. Articulation is great until you get to that middle portion, but overall, nicely done. So let's go ahead and get into transformation. Flip open the panel and stow your hands on both sides. Now bring your arms forward, open up the shoulders, pivot them in, actually rotate your head and then pivot them in. And each shoulder has a peg with a corresponding hole. Go ahead and peg that in. And I guarantee you will be coming back to reattach those. Rotate the arm, bring this down, and this hole will connect to that peg. When you have your arms pegged in, come to the back, pull this section out, go ahead and give it a rotate, open this up, rotate the whole thing, and leave it open like that. When you have your back section open, come down to the legs. You want to pop open the back of the calf, bring these sections out, give it a rotate to the side, bring your foot out, and go ahead and give it a spin. Pivot around and swing it down. Do the same on this side. Open, open, spin, rotate the foot, bring it down, and this you're going to position things for a while, but you want to connect this section here, and the feet will connect here on the arms. So work with it as well as you can. Get the pieces pushed all the way back, and ultimately this piece will have pegs that slide into a track here on the crotch. The feet, go ahead and rotate, and the white pegs on the arms will go into the pegs on the holes on the bottom of the feet. And it's more finicky than anything. Bring down the chest. There's a hole there that goes onto that peg. And bring out your white knees. And there we go. Knees just do pop out fairly simply. And lastly, you can bring in your weapons. I mean, you can peg them anywhere you want. You've got multiple selections as far as holes. So, I don't know if this is a hover tank or a angry arms Cybertronian crab. I don't know. I'm kind of leaning towards hover tank. You can see blue paint, the highlights that we saw in robot mode. There's the view from the back, the view from the bottom, and the top. Just for comparison, here he is with Earthrise Bluestring. Alright, here's Ravage and everything he comes with. He does have 2 hip blasters. Very tiny, but nicely sculpted. I guess you could potentially call them rockets. There are some fins here on the back. And these will simply plug into the holes on his hips. Like so. He does come with a very small but painted backpack. Got silver on the front and the top. Nicely detailed for such a small piece. There's the back, and this will simply plug into this hole on his head, on his back, like so. And well, we all know what this is, right? Instructions say to go ahead and peg it on the bottom, but I mean, we all know where we're really going to put this, so let's just move it out of the way and we'll take a look at Ravage. Very nicely done face on such a small core class figure. Beautiful yellow eyes, nice red and silver accents throughout. The mouth does open. It's got a little beard going on. And the head will go up and down, mainly due to transformation, but you can do that. Coming along the side, we'll go ahead and take this back off, but beautiful brown, white, and red paint. Smallest Decepticon logo I've ever seen there. But it's nicely done. Surprisingly detailed for such a small symbol. Coming around the back, much of the same. Very nicely sculpted. There's the tail. Tail can go up and down. Looking at the legs, the fronts can extend out that far. They do have the ability to do a full 360. Nice bend at the elbow, and then the feet can travel all the way around. Pretty much the same for the back legs. Very limited articulation out. but you do have a knee bend, actually in 2 locations on the back, and the same feet. So he does look tremendous, especially for a core class figure. Let's go get him transformed up. So you want to go ahead and remove his backpack and his leg guns if you haven't already. Go ahead and put the backpack on his stomach, like so. Bring his head down. The legs do have very small holes here, and where those are going to peg in are on these pegs here. So you'll want to manage those into a position where you can actually do that. And you're doing it wrong. There we go. And bring the feet up like that. So same on this side. Swing past the peg and then plug it in and bring your feet in. Back legs, first thing you want to do is you want to actually unhinge right here. Pop the legs out and bring this whole section forward, and it will connect right there. Bring the legs back, bring these forward, and these pegs are going to attach right there. Like so. And just nuzzle the front legs up against the back. Go ahead and bring in your tail. And there he is in his cube mode. Now you can go ahead and bring in his rockets, lasers, and go ahead and install them. You'll want to make sure that the side part, the sight, whatever it is pointing out. And there you go. Now the instructions say if you want, you can put that on there. And he is a very small cube. Just for size comparison, we'll bring in Streak again, and he is that big compared to Streak. Let's go ahead and take this off, and we'll go ahead and do what everybody wants to see. So you want to bring in Soundwave, go ahead and pop his chest open. Bring in Ravage, and it is a tight fit, but there you go. Obviously he won't fit in with this piece on, but he does fit, and you can close the door. So that is pretty awesome. To get it out, pop it back open, and the easiest way is to come to the back and just shove. And this is what it's really for. Awesome. So here is Studio Series 83 Voyager class Soundwave and Core class Ravage with Kingdom Cyclonus, Siege Soundwave, and Studio Series Starscream. So, final thoughts on Studio Series 83 Soundwave and Core Class Studio Series Ravage. I have to admit, the sculpting is amazing on these, especially Ravage for such a small figure. The articulation is surprising with both. The Soundwave could have used a little more on the waist and possibly a little more on the shoulders, but otherwise it's great. They both have a feel like they were yanked right out of the movie, and honestly, the negatives are very, very minor. Positives are amazing. Tremendous paint, sculpting, true to the film, and yeah, I'm kind of blown away by these two, to be honest. I'm glad that I was able to actually find them both at the same time, and couldn't have been more happy with that toy hunting trip. So I did find these at Walmart, and there were actually 6 of each on the shelf when I got there. I think they just opened the boxes, and I went back today and they're all gone, of course. The new packaging for Ravage is disappointing. With it being open, it leads to parts missing and potential theft. So I think Hasbro's going to have a big problem there. But if you can find them, yeah, I highly recommend them. They're great pieces. Even though the alt mode for Soundwave is questionable. If you haven't already, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share with your friends. And don't forget to get your bell icon. All that being said, thank you for watching, and I will see you again next time.